tower well. We used to walk down to it and try to climb up in it, but those concrete pillars are 10, 12 foot tall, so you had to have a rope or something to get in. So I hear it was just kind of haunting looking at it, but it was an incredible building. Just wood that would go all the way up, and you could get under it and look up the middle, and it really looked spooky looking up the middle of it.
It was right there. Of course, it was in great, repair, and my kids really were discouraged riding their bikes down in that area because you didn't want them to get hurt because it wasn't repaired. It was, I mean, there was, and we understood there were still bats there. The shingles were off, and it didn't look that good back in the 60s when we moved here. No, it didn't.
And the bat house was pretty cool. We couldn't get out to it, but a lot of kids did. A lot of kids would go out there and go drinking, and they get their, they get their Ripple, go out there, and 60s, I don't know what else they did, but they'd go out there. And then I remember some people that bought the land around it kind of complained about it. And then mysteriously it burned down a few years or so later. And I think it was, personally, I think it was burned down on purpose, but to get rid of it. But it was a pretty striking thing to be able to see it.
I owned that at one time. I bought some property, and I didn't realize until the survey came in. And I didn't own it very long, and kids came and burned it down. I don't think they deliberately burned it down, but they got up there and made a little fire, and that was about 75 maybe.
I saw it from the outside when it was still all whole. When we started the preservation, that's the one thing we wanted to preserve. We did have stationery made with a bat tower on it. Pictures were made. We were gung-ho for this thing. And apparently one night, mischief makers, I guess, burned it down, which was such a sad thing, even though it didn't work.
There was a consensus that if you had a bat tower, it would be filled with bats, and at night they would fly out and eat the mosquitoes. It's not true. I mean, they can't eat that many mosquitoes. Basically, it's just people would, the visitors would come from out of the area just to see that bat tower, from out of the state, as a matter of fact.
You'd take somebody that wasn't familiar to Temple Terrace fishing up the river, and they would say, "What in the world is that?" It was just a part of Temple Terrace.